And I will count to 10.
Thank you. I have my watch. I will try to be as precise as I can.
Hast dein Notebook vergessen?
Yes. Okay. So thank you very much for inviting me for this very interesting conference. I can understand vaguely sometimes because German is maybe not my best language from the very short list of the language I know and understand, but it's so far so good. I can understand something at least. And I will be speaking about some problems that many secret services face when we have a situation of so-called transition. Sometimes it's transition to democracy. There is also all the huge field of studies called transitology or something. But actually, we are not only have transition to democracy, but also transition from democracy or from one order or one political system to the other. And a few words about the definitions and terms I'm using in my presentation today. What is the zero option? This is the situation when one party takes power in some country or state, and going from the point of ideological of political departure, they treat the former security services as a backbone of the former regime. So they have to be abolished. Sometimes those people who used to work for those services were exposed to the public in the form of list of agents. Sometimes even those operatives are arrested, punished. The organization is dissolved, and the new institution is coming. This is the core of the zero option. The new secret services formed in the place of the former ones. Mostly staffed by young, unexperienced officers. Sometimes, in most cases in our part of the world, they are taught by so-called advisors from different big brothers, let us be KGB and KVD, CIA or somebody else, and this is more or less the zero option. And we have also the competing option, the continuation option. So, point of departure is the situation that actually the security service operatives are specialists in their field, they are professionals, their methods, sources, skills are universal, so we can use them for our new government. Let us it could be democratic or not, but still those guys are simply the specialists in their field. And the rewards of this situation exceed the risks. The officer's worldview has actually little influence on the action. So if you have former Nazi or former communist operatives, they are very good for the democratic secret services and to defend the democracy. And this is in the Polish case, it was said by the Polish deputy minister, in the moment of this change of power, called Jan Widacki, who was former opposition lawyer, he said something like, we need to modify the structures and tasks. It means just change from the east to the west, but only civilizing means civilizing operatives, but not changing them all at all. Basic question, which option is better from the point of functionality, of effectiveness of the state security services of the given country, and what are the lessons learned from comparing Polish, Italian, German, West and East German cases, and also I introduce a little bit interesting stuff from Czech and Slovak Republic, if the time will allow me. This is more or less the situation of the first change. Actually, we have Poland, East Germany, Czechoslovakia after 1945, and we have West Germany with the new organization created here, organization Gehlen and BND, Okay, you are the specialists here in the field, but I have to mention this. We have also Italy after 1943, where the secret services actually were split into the two secret services, one pro-Western, one pro-Nazi, or fascist ones, and then they are somehow combined and recreated to form a new secret services, actually old new secret service of Italy. This is a perfect continuation model. And we also have Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia after 1989, 1990. And there are a lot of publication on this subject, so I'm using in this presentation.
Could you use the mic?
Oh, sorry. Okay, okay, the Polish case, we have actually, in the Polish case 1944-45, we have a zero-option classical situation, new security apparatus completely made by the Soviets on the Soviet model matrix. We have a Ministry of Security like East German Stasi later, misleadingly called civilian. Our pre-war secret services were actually, and counterintelligence were actually within the structures of military, so we have completely different model of secret services in Poland before the war and after the war. And we have those new young officers, unexperienced, without education, without proper education in school, but also without this spying education, so without basis in the social elites, so coming mostly from the social lowlands. So this is the new, also the typical situation of zero model with all the bad and good things about it. We have a East Germany case. I will not talk too much in this, but this is also typical zero option, the complete change from the German policing tradition, also very established in the time, and the change of the whole police culture, let us say, from the German to the Soviet, but Germanized in time. So this is the case of East Germany with the zero option, but it's a very interesting case of Czechoslovakia when we have actually transition from democracy. And okay, the Czechoslovaks were, until 1948, when they had this communist coup d'etat, the Soviets actually rejected Czechoslovak communists to inform about how to run the secret services, even if they to some point control Ministry of Interior, control some secret services of the democratic Czechoslovakia being a part of the government. They are not allowed to know how to organize the proper Soviet communist secret services. So what they can do, they order the continuation guy. They found before the war, the specialist called Bedřich Pokorny, pre-war officer of the Czechoslovak secret services. He joined the Communist Party in 1945, and then he created the communist secret organization and networks run by the Austro-Hungarian model. So this is quite interesting case of continuation, and very long continuation, even special professional jargon and their manuals, instructions. It was all coming from Austro-Hungary in the communist secret network, in secret services network in the early mid-40s. But later he was arrested, and the new ideas, the Soviet ones, were introduced by the Soviet advisors, but it was after the coup d'etat in 1948. And then first the Czechs wanted to somehow imitate the models. They sent the invoice to other communist countries to ask how they should run these new services, but the Soviets decided, okay, this is not the case. We will send you our guys who will tell you and teach you and lead you to the proper Soviet style of STB of the Stalinist version. I will have no time, and this is not a place to teach the Germans how the German Western security services. But to put it short, and I show you the covers of the books that actually show at least few things. That there was a problem with Western continuation model, because it's not the typical continuation model, but actually there is, okay, I understand, everybody agreed that there was a lot of former Nazi operative in the new Western secret services. They were and tried to influence the political situation in Western Germany, especially in our time. There were huge problems with the political control on this. So they are very short, the problems with the continuation model in the case of Western Germany. But the question is, who is the best in the purely professional sense? When we, have a match between the Polish intelligence service, which is called first Department of Ministry of the Internal Affairs, and Bende. And I discover at least 3 cases of double agents. We have in this situation the problem of loyalty, to whom actually the double agent is loyal, and who run the agents better. The continuation guys, so the former Nazi spies, to be honest, or maybe the new guys trained by the Soviets in the Polish intelligence. And there are those 3 cases. One is journalist, Mr. Gottfried Kussen, who was a German living in Rome, employee of German section of Radio Vatican, agent of pre-war fascist Italian secret service called OVRA, inside the secret service of homosexuals in Rome, operating against the Vatican. It's quite interesting case. And after the war, he was working for Hungarian intelligence, was working for Polish intelligence, and was also allegedly, according to the journalist and also people, the person very involved in different kind of secrets operations, Hans Jakob Steele. In his book, he called him BND agents, and he, from some sources, known even his code name Cumberland. So cooperation with him from the perspective of the Polish services was terminated in the year 1971 after he set a trap for the Polish spies, and the spies from Poland and Bulgarian services who were also involved in the case were arrested and shortly after expelled. So this is the guy in the middle of this picture up above. The other guy was actually arrested for some kind of economic swindles at the end of the 50s, and somehow he landed in the one cell in the prison with the infamous Nazi official Erich Koch, who actually recruited him and sent him to West Germany to work as a double agent for the Germans. So it seems like a story that couldn't happen, but happened, and we have 143 volumes case of this guy. The question is that he was producing reports into copies, one copy for the BND in Pullach, the other for the headquarters of Polish intelligence in Warsaw. So he was. The story is very long, but to put very short, he knew everything about his officers running his case for Polish most secret part of the Polish intelligence, namely illegal departments. So he knew all of them, he drank a lot of alcohol, he actually knew with them. He was arriving to Poland and he was transported by helicopter to the secret compound of the Polish intelligence, where they trained him. It means that he drank for a few days, and he knew everything. But in his reports, you could not even find a name of his officers from the BND. They are all Millers, Schmidt, or something. Very, very hard to identify. And when we are, this football thing, it's 1-0 to BND. The first story is also 1-0, the second 2-0, and the third case is similar in a sense. He was not on even the double agent, but he has also double life. He was a German. Came from the family, German family in Danzig, Gdańsk. He was born during the Second World War. He decided for the career in history, so he was our colleague, professor of history. He was a Cistercian monk working as a priest in Austria, and at the same time, he has a lady, a divorcee in Poland, and he has in communist time, he was traveling from Austria to Katowice in Poland and having two lives. And very funny story. He also, and once again, we have a quite interesting collection of materials related to this stuff. So we can, this is the car of his case officers from BND. So we can think that the BND are far from James Bond cars, but it was for real spying because we have an instruction. This is the letter for him, and this is the letter after using some kind of chemicals, and this is the instruction, lieber Freund. So we can see how the instruction from BND looks like, at least from this perspective of this monk. And in this case, there was the level of stupidity of the disinformation that BND was feeding the Polish intelligence. I have no time to describe what they tell, but it was even you can even when you are reading the German papers, you can easily decide that the chief of the BND is not a fat man, but is the opposite. But this was this kind of information. So. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. So I have to skip the other cases of Italy, when we have very interesting story of the political risk created by the former officers from the former secret services, and is one of the very interesting story behind of the risk to the political situation and of these former officers. The guy we can see is most famous, Capo del Cifar. It means the boss of the secret services, famous general with monocle, who was accused of trying to organize the coup d'etat in Italy, and it was not the one leader of the secret services of continuation kind that was accused of things like that. So my analysis shows that it's clearly that the continuation services are simply professional are actually better. We have a question whether it's fully we can use it to the case of Germany with the East German successful newly created. They are not fully fit to this but the Italian, West German, and to some Polish cases, the Polish case also showed that the situation where the former operatives have ties with the former regime, but also the worldview is related to the former regime, communist or Nazi, it's also the danger for the democratic systems. So there is no good solution to dilemma, which option to choose, zero or continuation. There are pros and cons of both methods, and combination maybe is the best for the transition. Thank you very much. And